Man, I'm fucking tired. You know what I mean? I am tired. I am tired. I am fucking tired. But you know why I'm tired? It's not because I am working hard. It's not that. Because making music, doing something that you love, it's never working hard. It's never working hard. It's it's never something like, oh, I'm working hard. You're working hard when you do something that you don't love, but you do it, like because you need to. I don't know, man. Like you need to survive. You know what I mean? That is called I'm working hard. When you are doing something that you love, it is never working hard. But there is a misinformation on the web. There is a misinterpretation, and let's do a W in the chat for me. Thank you. Let's do a fucking W's in the chat for me and for what I'm about to say. It's like you need you need to do everything in moderation, meaning like you need to work and do give everything, but you also need to play a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you need to have fun a little bit. Of course, always keeping focus, always keeping the focus, always keeping your focus on the prize. Like on the winning. On But at the same time, you also need to a little bit to loosen up, to have fun, and that's what I would tell my 21-year-old self. And I would tell him that don't go into extremes. What does extreme mean? Extreme mean this, and I sound like I'm going to sound a little bit, you know, repetitive and well, he always says the same thing over and over again. What the fuck? Everything in moderation, like the ancient Greeks used to say. Balance, keep the balance. It's all about the balance. Lazy, extremely working. Like you should be lazy is here, right? You should be not even here. If you if you just if you don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm not trying hard enough, be somewhere here, right? You are still not balanced, right? But just be like here. Don't be here, because here it is extreme. It is it is it is the exact same with being lazy. You know what I mean? Like, it has the exact same effect. Overworking, overdoing things, over whatever the fuck, or like over, but you don't have playtime. Do that over, but also have your playtime. You know. For people who are wondering, I'm drinking Americano. I don't know, but here they call it like French coffee. Like the classic Americano, man. American coffee. Uh, Double, of course. It's not stronger like the Greek coffee, but it's around there. You know what I mean, baby? Da, da, da. And it's hot. Like I want hot coffee. So everything in moderation, everything in balance. That's what I would tell to myself, like, balance. And I know you're stressing. I know you want to give your everything. I know you have guilt. Yeah, I know all that. But what you need to do is to plan. Plan your week. You know what I mean? Get a piece of paper and write, boom, my week. Week 1. Let's write a good, program. That's what I did when I passed the university exams when I was like 18 years old. You make a program, boom, and you write. Monday, I wake up, I come from school this time. 1 hour, I eat. 3 to 4, I eat, let's say, right? 4 to 5, I do this. 5 to 6, this. 6 to 7, you put your extra school, because here in Greece we have extra school at noon, that they prepare you for the exams. In Greece and in Russia, these are the two countries that they have the hardest school system, meaning that if you pass the exams here, it means that you are smart. If you pass the exams in Greece, right, for the university, and you pass the exams in Greece, let's say like somewhere in Europe, or like in America even, or like in Latin America, or like in China, or like in wherever, right? The same guy. But if he passes in Greece, it was harder in Greece, right? So it means that he's smarter than the American version of him, or like the Chinese version of him, or like the European version of him. You know what I mean? Because it is tougher. It is extremely tough. That last year, because they don't tell you like, like, we care about what you did like in your last 2 years, or no, it doesn't matter. Like, I used to be like the most bad students. I had the baddest grades from all my classmates. I was like, you know how it is like when they say like, oh, those 4 guys in the back, right, in the back right here, that they say they will never amount to do anything in their lives, right? So I was one of those guys. I was like in that corner era, and everyone knew like that these guys, they are like, like they are losers, right? But it was like a boy band, a boy band of the losers, and I was the only one that I was always like expressing my opinions and all that stuff. And they were like, "Oh, the loser, he has even an opinion. Okay, we will see. Once you not go like to university and go get a job, because I was like always playing the smart. Even with my teachers, I was like trying like to, not I was trying, I wasn't trying, I was outsmarting them and always like putting them in traps that I was setting, and then I was like making fun of them for falling in the traps. So I was playing mind games. I didn't know what to do, man. It was, and I remember at that time my best friend, he was always sleeping, and he was like, "Why the fuck, like you always like talk with the teachers and get in fights with them and making fun of them and all that stuff. Where do you find all that energy? Why are you wasting your energy?" And I was like, "Man, like what are we going to do, man? Like, it's like every day the same thing. Like, we should find something like something like to entertain ourselves." He was like, "Are you going like to entertain yourself with those people? There is nobody else. you can only talk like to the teacher, right? And I especially did that like with female teachers. I always loved that. Cheers to them. I wish you all the best. So, uh, it's beautiful, like here in Greece, it is very, very beautiful, that system, because look how it is set up, right? And it is the best system that we have like here in Greece, because I will tell you why. So we live in a small town, right? Alexandria. So here in the small town, like all the small towns in the world, there are like status, right? Hierarchies, like the kids from the son or like the daughter of this guy or like of that guy, right? So the teachers sometimes they might like give, like so here it's not like A B C D E F, right? It's like 10 to 20, 10,500, I think. No, it's like 10.5, 15.6, like it's something like that. So they give like from 10 to 20. Now, if you get like a 9, 8, or 7, or like 10, 11, like it means like you pretty much should pack your bags and get out of here. You know what I mean? Or like go in the summer school. And when I was like 15 years old, I was like one step away from going like to summer school. And my mom like went like to my mom was like very, very scared, and like she went like to school, and like she tried like to talk them out. And wait, did I lose? Oh fuck, come on, man. Okay, I'm back. Thank God. So um I was like one step away, like from summer school, and like from even repeating the same class. You know what I mean? Like now, it's like you don't go like at 18. You don't graduate at 18. You graduate at 19. Like imagine that. Like that is worst experience, right? The worst experience. But I was like one step away. I didn't do that. So in the last year, now imagine like my background. I am like one step away from repeating the same class. Now, but at those times I used to play Lineage 2, like on my computer, and I was like in the internet, and I started like listening music in the internet, and I was like, wow. And I was playing like with my friends Lineage. I had friends like in Athens, like all over Greece, and we were playing. And there was one particular guy, I remember that, and he was like the best student ever, right? And he wrote like in the national exams, right? Because it's happening like that here in Greece. There is like a certain period where there is like a national exam, right? And all the students from all over Greece, they compete against each other. And there are certain, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know like how it is right now, there are certain, like positions in each department of universities. And the kids, they write, and I think like it's whoever writes better, you know what I mean? Whoever gets the more points, he applies, like to the list, the W's, the list of the universities, right? And those universities, based on the people who apply, they get even higher. So let's say that my university, the one that I got, like it's University of Macedonia, right? Applied Informatics, the Department of Applied Informatics, right? So the first one, the best one who applied in this school, there were, let's say, like 200 positions. Like the best one, he wrote 19,500 points, right? But the last one, he wrote 17,000. You know, so if you wrote 16,000, right? Which is like, at that time it was like amazing, you know, like it was a cool, right? You couldn't get in because the first 200 students, they all wrote, you know, like from 17,000 to 19,000, you know what I mean? And those points, they depend on every year how hard they are the exams, because there are years where the exams, they go like extremely hard. So maybe like one year, the last student, he might be like in 15,000, right? But all the others, they wrote like 16, 17, and the first one, like let's say like he wrote like 18,000, right? But because the exams were like very very hard at that year, so they lower the points of the department, right? So, but bear in mind, right? There are two things, and it's called axiokratiko. It's like a Greek word, and it means like everyone besides their background or whatever, right? They have the same exact chance, and how it will, and how all that thing functions. So, first of all, nobody cares what were your grades all your school, right? You were like the best student, or like you were the worst student, right? Nobody cares, right? Okay, so it is all about the last year, what you do in the last year. But of course, you know, like if you put your logic, and you were throughout all the years you studied and you were great and all that stuff, right? It means that you have way 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 more chances to succeed and to get into a great department and all that stuff. But at the same time, it tests your calmness, you know, like in a way it prepares you for life, even though a lot of people, they say like, oh, it's not like the end goal like in your life and all that stuff, but it prepares you, because that's what life demands, you know what I mean? Like it demands to give it your everything, and then there comes a time where boom, you know, and you do, and you apply yourself. Everything is like about compound lift, you know what I mean? Like work, 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 work. It's like the business, you know what I mean? And then there comes a time where boom, the business, it flourishes, or like you blow up, the same thing. But you should be prepared for that, and at that moment you should get the moment, you should grab it, you should be calm, and boom. So first of all, everyone's name, it's like it's being, they put like a tape in all your exams, you know what I mean? They put the tape, right? They put the tape, and they give you a barcode, right? And your exams, you know, like, because a lot of people, they have like a handwritten, like I stay like in the north, right? In the north, all the exams from the north, they will be sent down to south, you know, like, and teachers down in the south will, you know, like examine them, and they will give like the points. And from the south, let's say like they will go like here in the north, or like something like that. But at the end of the day, nobody knows who you are, or who is your father, who is your mother. You cannot bribe them, you cannot do anything. That's why it's called axiokratia. You know, it means that everyone has the same exact chance, right? So here in the small town, a lot of teachers, you know, like, in order like to have, you know, like to start like elevating, they might give like one or like two extra points, or even they don't like you. If they don't like you, they might get your points, or whatever the fuck, right? Or even like the kids, they might not be that smart, but because they go like to the teacher and they're like, oh, hello, Mr. Teacher, or like Mrs. Teacher, how are you? Yeah, do you want me to get your coffee, and all that stuff? They might get a little bit of points. So I remember in my school there were a lot of guys, a lot of girls, especially the guys that were like, who they did that, they played that game, like the teacher and all that stuff, and they were like trying like to be friends with the teachers, so they would get good grades, right? And their grades, they were like cool. But bear in mind, the grades that you have around the years, they don't care. When you go like in the exams, you are like zero, like everyone else. And your papers will go down in the south, so you cannot do anything. It's what you do these days when you write the exams, and the exams, they are extremely hard. Like, I'm telling you, and I'm not trying like to get myself up and to be like, oh, braggadocious, but the exams in Greece and in Russia, uh, the school system, it is the most, it is the hardest like in the world, seriously. So, um, and bear also in mind that there is the stress, right? Because now your family pays for the schools at, like the after school, because you need to do the extra school, right, in order to prepare you for the exams. You know what it is? Do you understand that? So you are like for 9 months, and it goes like, sometimes it goes like 12 months, because a lot of students, they start from August. You should be like every day, every day, every day. And that experience really prepared me for all those years that I'm fighting like for the top spot, like all over the world in music. And I always say to myself, I'm giving Paneladikes, because it is called Paneladikes, every year for 10 years. So, right, we have like 1 year. 1 year, you are like school, 8 to 2, right? You go home 3 to 4, or like maybe 3 to 5. You eat, you study. 5 to 8, or sometimes 5 to 9, or maybe 6 to 10, or like maybe 6 to 9. It depends on the day. You go to the uh, after school, where it's not a private school, but you pay for it. You know what I mean? The after school. You go there. And then from 9 to 1, or maybe from 10 to 2, or 10 to 1, or whatever, you keep on studying. You know what I mean? And you should be like with 7 hours of sleep. I remember we had a teacher in the after school that he said like, all you need is like 6 to 7 hours of sleep, no more than that. I don't care what you're going to do. Drink coffee, do whatever the fuck you want to do. He was like a physics teacher. This guy, like, he was like, when it came like to teachers, he was a genius, very very genius. And I will tell you why I'm calling him genius. And he said like 7 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep. We don't care, no more than that. If you go 8, you're doing something wrong. You don't need 8. At least for this year, you don't need 8. You need to sacrifice. So, and we have the same name, Kostas. His name like is Konstantin also, Konstantinos. Shout out to my teacher Kostas in physics in the after school. And I will tell you why I'm shouting him out. So now bear in mind, right, the underdog story. I was like the worst student. I was like in that corner back there, where like in the morning school, all the teachers, they were like laughing, and they were like he's a loser. He will never do anything like in his life. And there was like that other group of guys that I told you that they were like being like with the teacher. So one day they asked us, and they said, okay, like there was a teacher, and she said like, where do you wanna go? Like, where do you wanna get? And everyone, like they all started like telling the university that they preferred, right? And then these guys, they started like saying like, oh, I wanna go like here, like, and they started like naming like universities in Greece that you don't get in like that. Like, you need like to be a genius, a fucking genius. Like, they were like fucking like F-16 pilots, engineers. I mean, like you go in like you are really like something. You know what I mean? Like you are something, right? And it came to me, right? I was like, it was my turn. And I always like at that time I was like extremely into computers, but it wasn't like I was like into computers in a way that I was like programming or something like that. I was like into computers. I downloaded at that time FL Studio. I was playing video games. I was like on YouTube watching videos. I was like, wow, this internet thing's like, it's great. And I was even, like searching about like computer programming and all that stuff and security things, backtrack and all that. But I wasn't like never like trying to do anything or like. Uh, and these guys, they started like naming, and I said to myself, okay, I'm going to name like, since these guys like they put like all the great schools, the 19,000 point schools, I'm going to name the school that I want. And I said like Applied Informatics, University of Macedonia. So bear in mind that Applied Informatics, like in Greece, it is the only department here, from what I know, that if you want to become like the next Steve Jobs or the next Mark Zuckerberg and you want to go and study, this is the perfect school, because it has, the Applied Informatics has like two parts, like the one part is computer programming and internet and all that stuff, and the other is like economics, business, how to manage a business and all that stuff, like, but it is like, so it is the best school to prepare you to become. And I will tell you the story about the Steve Jobs, like in the university, what happened, and but later in another segment. And so I said like Applied Informatics, and right, Applied Informatics at that time, the last one who would get in was like 15,000, but it was like from the fourth. There were like parts. I think it was like the first, second, the third, fourth, fifth. The fifth was the easiest. The fourth and the fourth and the second, they were like about science and all that stuff. So it was about you get the most points if you write good in physics and mathematics. In the fifth, you get the most points if you write good in economics and some bullshit like that, which was easy. And the first, it was like about the in philology and law and all that stuff, like. And the third, it was like about. It was something like that. I don't remember what it was, but it was like those who wanna go like become teachers in philology, to become like lawmakers, lawyers, whatever. Like they write about. They studied about ancient Greek philosophy and literature and all that stuff. Those who wanted to become chemists or or doctors. They studied about biology and mathematics and physics, all that stuff. But those who want to become computer programmers, scientists, like they gave more into mathematics and